Hello, welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tessano here in the Greater Accra region. I'm Vivian Kai, local coming up. Kusasi chief assassinated in Ashanti region. Community demands justice.
Me two akunyana kunyana born and sa and a 20 years old from or fights over for two and me journey here. To me, Joanna could dinner and radio anymore. Never saw by me by an circuit the hall. None hanging I am.
Body of Ghanaian student arrives from Latvia as family demands justice over suspicious death.
We'll make sure that we get the justice that we want. We'll pass through the right channels to get the justice that we want. For me, if we don't, I don't think I'll rest. I'll follow up till I get the justice.
Still in today's edition, over 1,000 excavators impounded at Tema Port in anti-galamsey crackdown.
So far, 1,200 excavators have been impounded pending validations before clearance at the port. We have also made 1,345 arrests nationwide.
Later in the bulletin, minority slams government over galamsey crisis.
I think that they told everybody the galamsey was going to be solved. They added gold board, that gold board was going to be the panacea for all our gold issues. We want to see how that is being solved because now the miners are complaining. Okay?
In Channel 1 business. All eyes on mid-year budget scheduled for Thursday, July 24th, 2025, with business leaders calling for bold reforms. In Channel 1 Sports. Black Queens WAFCON breakthrough rekindles call for investment in women's football. Thank you for joining us. Let's bring you details of our stories. Now, the Accra Regional Police Command has confirmed the arrest of 2 individuals in connection with violent disturbances during the parliamentary rerun in the Ablekuma North constituency on Friday, July 11, 2025. In a statement signed by the head of public affairs for the region, Superintendent Julian Obing, the suspects were identified as 46-year-old Musa Montari, a station manager at STC, and 43-year-old businessman Ali Said, also known as Imboma. Both men are currently assisting police with investigations into assaults and acts of violence reported at several polling stations during the by-election. The rerun held to determine the area's parliamentary representative was marred by chaos and sparked public concern over electoral security and accountability. The Ghana Police Service has reaffirmed its commitment to bringing all perpetrators of election-related violence to justice and pledged to safeguard the peace and credibility of the country's democratic process. Now to a rather sad one, and grief and outrage have gripped the Kusasi community in the Ashanti region following the assassination of their chief, Abdul Malik Azembe. The chief was fatally shot on Tuesday evening at his residence near the Asawasi F-Line Community Center by unknown assailants, one of whom was reportedly armed with an AK-47 rifle. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Bright Yeboah has details.
It was 8:40 p.m. on Tuesday, July 22, when two men riding a motorbike arrived at the Aswasi residence of Kusasi Chief Abdul Malik Azembe. The chief, who had only recently been enskinned as Kadinaba 3 months ago, was shot without warning. He was rushed to the Menchia District Hospital and later referred to the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Eyewitness Aremiyao Dauda, visibly shaken, recounted the horrifying moment the gunmen struck, opening fire before fleeing the scene.
Na minister kiti ho. Ena ono ti plastic chair so. Ena msumiti bench so. Ti bench na miti no. Na miti kita radio ayi. Mi phone na miti commentary. Mbano ball no. Miti commentary na mi unse nipa menu. Africa na esi hoi. Echi inchense ebaye nim. To mba face ya na. Do face sarkende otuntam. No face sarkende no jina face na no two ye. Ena bako so face me. Te bako no face me okita so ni say face me. To ha me so tama me sorry no me paja akonja no. Te me paja wa say ahu a man to akonja ya boy batu. Te me to akonja na konja no ball na nsa. Ena to ne say beto form. O fight so ofa to na me dwane ye. Te me dwane ko jina me radio ni ma ho. Na me sa ba me ba na sarki da ho.
The chairman of the Ashanti Regional Kusasi community described the killing as a devastating blow, saying that the late chief was a key pillar of support to Kusasis in the Ashanti region and beyond.
It's a big blow, very, very, very painful blow. In fact, it's something we cannot escape because it has happened. So it's very, very painful. I can say he is a pillar of the Kusa community, both here and then back home.
At the late chief's residence, mourners gathered to console the bereaved family. 2 bullet casings were found at the scene. The glass door of a nearby barbering salon bore bullet holes, and blood stains were visible on the ground where the chief had been standing moments before the attack. Municipal Chief Executive for the Asukori Mampon, Ben Abdallah Al-Hassan, has appealed for calm, particularly among the youth.
I will continue to urge calm and ask that they allow the security to finish the investigations and be able to unravel the circumstances surrounding this barbaric act.
Meanwhile, the family of the late chief is calling on the government and Asante Hinotunfo Setutu II to support efforts to bring the perpetrators to justice.
We know government has the ability to end this crisis. It is the political will that is lacking. If there is the political will, government should therefore immediately investigate this killing.
For Channel 1 News, I am Bright Yeboah.
A deadly clash at Mpasaso number 2 in the Afua North-Southwest district of the Ashanti region has left 1 person dead and 3 others, including a pregnant woman, critically injured. The incident has been referred to the Regional Security Council, RECSEC, for further investigation and action. Meanwhile, in a separate development, the Ashanti South Regional Police Command has arrested 4 suspected armed robbers and killed 1 other during a failed robbery operation. Channel 1 News' Ashanti Regional correspondent Doris Lonta with details.
Tensions remain high at Mpasaso number 2 following a violent confrontation between 2 rival gangs on Thursday, July 17. The clash escalated into a shootout that claimed 1 life and left 3 others, including a pregnant woman with life-threatening injuries. The motive for the clash is still unclear, but local officials say the matter has outgrown the capacity of the District Security Council. Speaking to Channel 1 News on Wednesday, July 23, officials from the Ahafano Southwest District Assembly confirmed that the matter has been formally referred to the Regional Security Council for a broader investigation and coordinated response.
The issue currently going on at Mpasaso number 2, when the DC heard what is going on, he quickly raised with the police commander and some of his men. I mean, the police were deployed to make sure calm is maintained at Mpasaso. And as an assembly, we can only work in a peaceful environment. So just yesterday, there was an emergency DISEC meeting, and certain decisions have been taken. And coming Tuesday, another DISEC meeting will come on for the assembly to make sure that these factions and these issues that is going on at Mpasaso is resolved.
In a related but separate incident, the Ashanti South Regional Police Command has arrested 4 suspected armed robbers and killed 1 during a shootout. According to police, the suspects were arrested on July 9 at Ankakwe Soso Fenase in the Amansia South District. The deceased, identified as a member of a robbery gang, was shot and killed during an exchange of gunfire with police at Abedrum in the Wase municipality while attempting to carry out a robbery. The Ahafano Southwest District Assembly has emphasized its commitment to ensuring that the matter is resolved. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Doris Lonta, Ashanti Region.
We still stay with security because the government has uncovered a case of ammunition theft within the Ghana Armed Forces, which predates the 2024 transfer of thousands of unaccounted rounds to the National Security Secretariat. Now, Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah made this revelation during a working visit to the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center as part of his familiarization tour of key military institutions. He also linked the persistence of chieftaincy conflicts across the country to the illegal possession of firearms by civilians. Channel 1 News' Fauzu Masawudu with details.
The Defense Minister's familiarization visit, accompanied by senior officials from the ministry, was part of a broader effort to engage directly with military personnel on operational challenges and explore strategic solutions. High on the agenda was the issue of chieftaincy-related violence, especially in hotspots like Boko. The Defense Minister warned that individuals who exploit these disputes to incite violence will face severe consequences.
We are very clear in our minds that, as we have said already, separating crime from traditional aspects of the Boko conflict is the way to go. And so whoever engages in any criminal act in the name of any chieftaincy dispute, including the Boko conflict, will be dealt with as a normal criminal. There will be no discrimination.
In a significant disclosure, Dr. Omane-Boamah announced that investigations have uncovered a case of ammunition theft within the Ghana Armed Forces, which occurred before the now infamous 2024 transfer of thousands of missing rounds to the National Security Secretariat.
I spoke about the 2024 transfer of ammunition from the Ghana Armed Forces to the then National Security without due consultation and authorization, which the present National Security Coordinator is seeing to that investigation. Just when I thought that was being addressed, we have uncovered another one. And in that case, theft of ammunition. And that was even before the 2024 transfer of ammunition from the Ghana Armed Forces to the National Security.
He further stated that the government is committed to retooling and equipping the military to enhance its ability to respond to both internal and external threats.
Infrastructure continues to be a major challenge, and several other concerns that they raised with us. We have promised to address some of them instantaneously, and I was even discussing with our Chief Director. Whilst we look at the general idea of how we are going to finance the National Defense University through the Government of Ghana budgetary financing, through the big push for infrastructure, and also through dividends.
Given recent security concerns amid the resurgence of chieftaincy clashes, the Defense Minister says government will not relent on bringing perpetrators to book. Reporting for Channel 1 News, Fauzu Masaudu, Accra.
Now, over 1,000 excavators brought into the country have been impounded at the Tema port, awaiting validation before clearance, forming part of efforts by the government in the fight against illegal mining. Presenting an update on the sector on Wednesday, July 23rd, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, revealed that the Ports and Harbours Authority has begun tracking all imports of excavators and earth-moving equipment. We have more in this report.
Activities of illegal mining remain a major hurdle in the ongoing fight against land and water destruction. Despite various strategies adopted by successive governments, illegal mining persists. While arrests continue, recent developments include the impounding of excavators for validation before allowed into the country.
In collaboration with the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Finance under the GRA Customs Division, and the Ports and Harbours Authority, we have initiated a proactive tracking of all imports of excavators and earth-moving equipment from the point of entry. So far, 1,200 excavators have been impounded, pending validations before clearance at the port. We have also made 1,345 arrests nationwide, and prosecutions are steadily progressing. 177 excavators have been seized under the Forestry Commission, 4 bulldozers, 12 vehicles, 43 motorcycles, and 155 pumping machines, 184 chamfans, 15 detector machines, and 10 heavy-duty generators have all been seized, and 286 persons have also been arrested. These are under the Forestry Commission, and they make up for the total numbers I gave earlier.
In related development, hundreds of small-scale mining licenses are under investigation due to irregularities in their issuance and operations.
It must be noted that 55 small-scale mining licenses issued during the transitional period were revoked at the beginning of the year. Additionally, 907 out of 1,278 licenses, and these are small-scale mining licenses, are now under review for possible revocation due to irregularities identified by the Small-Scale Mining Review Committee, chaired by my able Deputy Minister. These measures are all aimed at sanitizing the mining sector to ensure transparency and sustainable operations.
Meanwhile, progress has been made in resolving the disputes between Azuma Resources Ghana Limited and engineers and planners regarding the Black Volta Gold project.
This particular lease has been given for over 5 years or so. And so first it was within the minister's right to make sure that we address the issue. But I'm happy to inform you that after that letter, these two companies have really made progress. In fact, I received a letter from Azuma Resources informing me that they've reached very conclusive agreements with the EMP. And that should tell you that I think those in it, that letter really has impact.
Now, the minority in Parliament has accused the government of gross hypocrisy and failure in tackling the growing illegal mining crisis, commonly referred to as galamsey. Now, speaking to Channel One News, the minority demanded concrete action in the 2025 mid-year budget review to save Ghana's environment. Channel One News' parliamentary correspondent, Ni Aikwe Okai, with details.
The Finance Minister, Dr. Kasia Latsoforsen, is expected in Parliament on Thursday, July 24, 2025, to present the 2025 mid-year budget review. Now, ahead of this presentation, some members of Parliament have been sharing varied expectations.
I think that they told everybody the galamsey was going to be solved. They added gold board, that gold board was going to be the panacea for all our gold issues. We want to see how that is being solved, because now the miners are complaining, okay? And galamsey hasn't gone down. If we take the region, which belongs to the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, galamsey happy. So if you take Savannah, which is the President's own constituency, and the Deputy Minister's region, and it's happy. So clearly it shows that there's something that is not working. I believe that when we came to Parliament, I advised them that they should decentralize fully both the licensing and the anti-galamsey operations to make sure that we can contain them at that level. But they seem not to be listening, and I believe that the budget should be able to address these issues.
It's exciting to note that today, as at today, Assembly members are being given allowance to support their movements within their electoral areas. And then he promised 80% of the common fund to go into the various MMDAs. And as we speak, it's being rolled out. The first quarter has gone, and the assemblies have been giving guidelines to ensure that they operate according to those guidelines. That is in the area of getting a kindergarten, constructing a CHIPS compound, in the area of sanitation, among others. And then when you look at the chieftaincy institution as well, the first quarter of the allowances for the traditional leaders has also been paid. And so I'm hopeful that this budget, that is the mid-year budget review, is going to bring more hope to the good people of Ghana.
In their campaign, they said that things were too high. Ghanaians were, suffering, and so they were coming into cushion. But they made mention of the Nkukon Kitinkiti. They made mention of the big push, where they allocated 13.8 billion Ghana cedis. And they, as for the 24-hour economy, it was it's like in the books, but we still haven't seen any implementation to that effect. Even with the big push, the 24-hour economy, and other interventions that they mentioned. So we are hoping that they'll come and tell us why they haven't implemented those policies that they put in their first policy statements to Ghanaians. That is what we are expecting them to tell us. Expenditures on contractor payments, expenditures on other infrastructure payments are missing. You go around the country, there are a lot of stalled projects in terms of hospitals, in terms of schools, in terms of roads. And I have several in my constituency.
For me, I think that the key amongst them is how basically job creation is going to be improved, how the road networks are going to be improved, how standards of living are going to improve, and how they are going to basically work hand in hand with the central bank to ensure that the financial systems is working well enough to be able to cater for the needs of industry, the needs of companies, and all other stakeholders within the space as a matter of urgency.
Previous administration PP time, the dollar was $18 to cedi, which was very difficult for businessmen to determine their profit. So anytime they can determine, it makes it difficult. A lot of people's money has vanished because of that. Now the economy is stable. Now you can determine your profit. It gives confidence to businessmen. So to me, it's good. If you're able to keep up and sustain it, it will help all of us.
Reporting for Channel 1 News from Parliament, Ni Ayukwe Okan.
We'll still stay with the budget because as we prepare for the mid-year budget review, we're joined in the studio by the Honorable Dr. Eko Kweno, who is a Member of Parliament for Ekumfi. Now, Dr. Kweno brings a wealth of experience from the financial sector, having previously served as Head of Sales and Trading at Fidelity Bank and Director of FX Trading at Standard Chartered Bank West Africa. Now, in Parliament, he currently serves on both the Trade, Industry and Tourism Committee and the Office of Profit Committee. Honorable, welcome to Channel 1 Newsroom.
Thank you.
Now, let's look at because you are into FX in your previous time, Gold Board initiative. How well are we doing in terms of showing up the FX?
Thank you very much, and my greetings to all your viewers. The Gold Board has been something that the market has expected for many years. In my time as a trader, we used to talk about it, that the implications of getting it right as far as the gold market is concerned would spur a lot of changes. And thankfully, this administration basically has brought it to bear and make it a reality. And you can see the impact it's having, quite a positive impact on the currency. And if you look at how well the currency has done year to date, 42.6%. It's been a while since we even saw an appreciation in the currency year to date. So for the currency to do that well, 42.6, I think is a big achievement. And I think that Gold Board basically has given the government leverage and also for the country to benefit from its gold resources in terms of the ability to aggregate it and sell it for us to realize the value and the benefit of it. In the past, it was left to many individuals to basically do their, exports. And we did not get the retention from the exports that we had. And at many times you see that whilst the projection is that we are supposed to receive this amount of FX in retention for exported gold, we don't get it. And therefore we have to always scramble with the few non-traditional exports, those that are exporting through the official lines for us to get. And for the large-scale miners, the retention agreements are quite rigid, to the extent that country gets only about 10%. Therefore, it's quite small.
Yeah.
But with these small-scale miners, we are getting, literally, I would say, less than 100%.
Okay.
And in that case, we get to see a lot of effects. That's why you see the Gold Board make mention of the fact that we export about 5 billion and all that. And all these monies are coming into the reserves, and also some are being used for interventions in the market, giving us that needed liquidity to basically keep the currency.
From where you sit on the implementation of the Gold Board and in terms of the performance of the city, in terms of the appreciation, 46 thereof,
42.6.
Are you expecting it to be better? People believe that where you've gotten to the 10 cities average is going to stay there or even move higher at a point, especially when we're approaching Christmas, where traders, after 2 months, will start buying or going to get their wares, which they will demand some more dollars.
Well, as it stands, I mean, Gold Board is a game changer because we didn't have this quantum of liquidity coming into the market. And clearly, if you look at the interventions that are happening so far within the market space, it gives you an indication that if this should continue, and also bearing in mind that the performance of the gold necessarily affects where we are. So if the world market price is stable or basically goes higher, we get to benefit more. The risk we run is that should the reverse happen, what's going to happen? That's what we don't know. Yeah. So as it stands, for me, if I see how the currency is performing, people wonder or ask questions whether it's sustainable.
Yes.
In my view, yes. I mean, reserves are currently 11.1 billion, 4.8 months of import cover. Under normal terms, it should be 3 months. Now we are doing 4.8. So for me, at least we have some buffers to work with. So if we are 11.1 billion as opposed to 8.9 billion previously, clearly there's some room that we can use to basically manage the currency fluctuations and liquidity as it were. So give or take, at worst, currently the market's idea and perception is within a band of, let's say, 10 and 12.
Yes.
I mean, if things improve further, we could hit a 10. But should the reverse happen, I do not expect the currency to break the 11 by close of year.
11 for you by close of year. Well, we'll live to see. But Finance Minister returns to Parliament tomorrow, mid-year. Do you think there should be other interventions he should add on to stabilize the city further, apart from the gold reserves and other initiatives we've seen him introduce for the major budget?
Well, I mean, the Finance Minister is doing, for me, a very great job. Because taking just the currency as one of the economic indicators and how it has impacted everything in Ghana, I think he took the right decisions. And I want to probably commend the president for that appointment that he did, because I was fortunate. Before he was confirmed as minister, I had a conversation with him, and he was like, okay, these are my things. I want to achieve a single-digit inflation and also deal with the exchange rate. And today we have seen a man who stands by his word. I mean, clearly everybody sees from 17 we are doing 10.5-ish. And today, the ripple effect of that exchange rate appreciation is translated even into inflation. Right. Inflation has dropped significantly 6 months in a row from 23% levels. Today we are doing somewhere 13.7. It tells you that there is a deliberate effort to ensure that this is done. I'm not surprised that the likes of Deloitte have basically come out to say that it is likely we might see a single-digit inflation by end of the year. And I kind of share in that, because agriculture has also improved, and looking at the policies government has put in place, Feed Ghana, all these initiatives around agriculture, if they should kick in, and food remains a very important component of the basket for inflation computation. So if food begins to become easily accessible, prices are low, clearly we expect inflation to even go further and even quicker than we expect. So for me, I think that he's done a yeoman's job. He needs to be commended. Today, even rating agencies are beginning to speak about it. S&P has published.
So exciting times for him and his work. But if you listen to businesses and all that, they're still complaining about limited availability of forex through the formal system, which is the banks. The black market is still running the system, isn't it?
Well, yes, I've heard that conversation happen. But this is not new. It's always been there.
But this shouldn't be, should it?
Well, I mean, under normal circumstances, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But the point is, there are people who necessarily cannot meet the requirements for FX assessment. If you want to assess FX, there are documentary requirements, there are tax requirements, and for somebody who basically is not in a formal sector, he finds it easy and more convenient to go outside to access the FX. Yeah. And that's where we have a problem. So it might get to a point where maybe some little regulation might have to come in, and also maybe look at the situation where we might have to inject some liquidity into that space, basically, because of course it's a demand and supply situation. So if the liquidity is low, we expect the price to be high. That's why you have that level of disparity between the formal market and also that of the parallel market. So it may be there, but I think eventually the market will find its level.
Right.
Because the point is, if there's so much liquidity in the system and you flood the power market, they wouldn't have a choice but to drop their prices.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we might get to eventually. And of course, with some level of, regulation, we might achieve that a bit more faster.
Right. Now we see the energy sector debt legacy, leading to a struggle in infrastructure development in terms of payments and all that. What are we putting in place to help solve that problem and increase our infrastructure, capital for infrastructure?
Well, that's true. I mean, if I recall, the debt for the energy sector is almost 40 billion plus. And it's one thing that really hampers the country's development, especially with energy, power, as it were. Now, today, the NDC coming back into office, people were a bit concerned about some level of lights out that we might be experiencing and the impact on industry and businesses. Fortunately, I think they've put enough buffers in place. I probably don't recall the last time I had light out in my house. Which for me,
I had over the weekend.
Well, you might be lucky. I mean,
to have lights out over the weekend. So I'm not sure about what is happening with this
from my perspective.
Yeah.
My community has been
you probably have a genset.
Well, I live among my people, so I'm speaking from that perspective.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I think that generally, if you look at historically, the NDC and under former Minister Setekpa introduced ESLA, basically to pay off these debts, legacy debts that were there. Fortunately, I think to a large extent that was achieved. But I think when there was a change of government, the understanding changed, where proceeds were literally used for other things. But I think that they've come to the understanding and the realization that, I mean, dealing with these energy issues remains key to the prospect that this economy has. That is why, in the wisdom of the minister, he's introduced this 1 cedi levy across all petroleum products. And if you look at the quantum of revenue, projected revenue that's supposed to come, I think over time, it is literally going to reduce to a large extent the exposure that we have to most of these IPPs and co who threaten us with light outs and all sort of things. So, and of course, if you look at the Ghana gas, where they are looking to also create another plant, gas is literally cheaper when it comes to power generation. So if as a country, we have reason to create another Ghana gas, then potentially in future, our energy costs may be lower. And that may drive businesses as well to get this economy to another level of performance.
All right. I want to ask you about your expectations for tomorrow's budget, because I saw you earlier. But I'm going to go quickly and wrap up to tomorrow, where Professor Atamils, we celebrated the death or the anniversary following his death. You're from his, hometown. What's the plan for tomorrow?
Well, there's quite a lot of work. There was a commemorative lecture at UPSA. That was yesterday. Yeah. And tomorrow there will be a vigil at Asumdwe Park.
Asumdwe Park?
Yes.
Last year we saw something very terrible.
Well, I think...
Kokwa in there, government in there, the NDC in there. Anything smooth this time around?
I believe so.
Who is in charge this time? Government?
I think government is fully in charge. No, I mean those are legacy issues. I think
Okay.
by now it should be resolved, just like the energy sector once we are resolving.
All right, so we'll join you tomorrow at the Asubri
Yes,
Park. I'm
yes.
afraid we have to leave it here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Honourable Dr. Eko Kweno is a member of Parliament for Ekumfi. Let's move on to some rather troubling story where the family of 18-year-old Ghanaian student Nana Ajay, who died under suspicious circumstances in Latvia on June 4, 2024, is intensifying calls for justice. Now, while Latvian authorities have reported that Nana Ajay fell from the 6th floor of his apartment in Riga, his family strongly disputes that account, now citing a chilling voice note that he sent just days before his death, in which he claimed he had been poisoned. Now, Channel 1 News' Fauzu Masawodo was at the Kotoka International Airport when Nana Ajay's remains arrived from Latvia and filed this report.
The joy of every parent or guardian whose ward lives the shores of the country to pursue higher education or chart a career path is to return home with that expected success. But the story of Nana and his family are the opposite. Nana left Ghana to pursue higher education elsewhere, but he returned home as a dead man. Grief and heartbreak filled the air as the remains of Nana were returned home to Ghana. Friends and family gathered in tears, mourning a young life cut tragically short. The 18-year-old Ghanaian had been pursuing an electrical engineering program at Regal Technical University, having enrolled in July 2024. Initial reports from Latvian authorities suggested he fell from the 6th floor of his apartment on the Banica Street in Regal, but his family insists something more sinister occurred.
Suspect has been murdered. The examination of the body, the circumstances leading to his death, justify my suspicion that he's been murdered. It wasn't a natural death. In Latvia alone as a student, as a Ghanaian student, our information a week or two before his death point to the fact that he had some issues with some Latvian natives who were pursuing him, some harassments. Some actually, a video indicated that he was even poisoned. And so obviously there was some issue between him, some of his mates.
You know what these issues were?
No real details, because we only got to know after he is passed.
Family spokesperson Sarah Nimle said multiple efforts to engage the relevant authorities, including Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to push for a thorough investigation have so far yielded no results.
In fact, I tried even seeing the minister himself. And then I think I've been there several times, and they said he's busy. I was expecting that somebody will attend to me. And the consulate also told me that they're also doing their investigation. And that's when they are done, they will get back to us. So basically, that's what I know. In fact, Honorable Afote Agbo, the Lion King, has been very helpful to us. He has even called him severally. He's not picking. Myself, I have his personal number. I call him. He doesn't pick.
The minister.
Yes. So what I do is that every information I send it to him as well through WhatsApp.
Adding to their pain is the fact that the family still has no access to the official autopsy reports, deepening suspicions and emotional distress.
As at this stage, we're actually struggling to even cite the postmortem autopsy report. We haven't seen it yet, and also there's no report from the CID at the department. We haven't seen anything yet. Yes.
You should be worried.
Very worried. We would have been comfortable somehow if we knew what led to his death. As I know, we're in a limbo.
To those who knew him, Nana was a spark of joy, a bright, curious soul with a smile that lifted spirits, his life, though brief, was full of promise. For his family, seeking the truth behind his death is now a mission they are determined to pursue to the very end.
We'll make sure that we get the justice that we want. We'll pass through the right channels to get the justice that we want. For me, if we don't, I don't think I'll rest. I'll follow up till I get the justice.
Despite the mystery behind the death of Naneji, for his family, justice would at least provide the needed closure. Reporting for Channel 1 News, Fauzuma Saudu, Accra.
Now, Total Energies Aviation has indefinitely suspended its refueling services at the Kotoka International Airport due to supply constraints. Now, the company disclosed the suspension takes immediate effect and affects ad hoc or spot flights until further notice. It further indicated that the situation also affects existing fuel orders, a development which could impact scheduled airline operations. Now, airlines coming to the Kotoka International Airport are being advised to make prior refueling arrangements with their service providers as the country faces an anticipated shortage of aviation kerosene. However, management of the Kotoka International Airport is yet to officially comment on the matter and what its mitigation measure will be. You're still watching the Channel 1 Newsroom. I am Vivian Kai Local. When we come back, all eyes on mid-year budget scheduled for Thursday, July 24th for 2025, with business leaders calling for bold reforms. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If I can complete a marathon, then I can overcome any situation that comes my way.
Register now for the ABSA Black Star Marathon, because your story matters.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother Man Small. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all, kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the great. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boah, faha.
Still on the old My DSTV app? Time to make the switch. And yes, it's as easy as it sounds. Just download the new My DSTV app and log in as you normally would. Everything you need is right there. Your account, your settings, your offers. It's a smoother way to pay, upgrade, reconnect, or clear errors. All in fewer steps. No hassle, just more control in less time. Download the new My DSTV app, made to make it easy.
You're welcome back to Channel 1 Newsroom. I'm Vivian Kai. Local next is Channel 1 Business with Nashika Caesar.
Channel 1 Business is brought to you by MTN and Ecobank.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial *770# for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Well, Nashika Caesar joins us for some details on today's Bulletin in Business. Tomorrow is a big day.
Yes.
24th July. Budget. The big one, of course.
Yes.
Give us details of what to expect.
Right. The Finance Minister, Dr. Kusasi Latuforsen, is set to present the 2025 Media Budget Review to Parliament on Thursday, with expectations running high. Many stakeholders are calling for bold policy measures to spur economic growth. I have been engaging with the business community to gauge the expectations ahead of the announcement.
This year's Media Budget Review will provide a comprehensive update on how government policies have shaped the economy during the first half of 2025. It will assess revenue performance, expenditure patterns, debt servicing, and the overall fiscal outlook. The presentation will also detail any proposed policy adjustments while shedding light on key macroeconomic indicators such as inflation trends, exchange rate stability, and progress on structural reforms. As Dr. Kusasi Latuforsen prepares to deliver the statement, the business community is hoping for clarity and decisive action, particularly on tax reforms. Dr. Joseph Obeng, president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, shared his perspective.
General cost of doing business, duty payments are still very much unbearable. We expect measures that will help prune down the taxes and levies. We have been saying, we have to rationalize the tax system in this country so that the duty payment especially should be manageable and make people comply to do business, and also trickle down to the prices of goods and services.
Similarly, Samuel Agri, the General Secretary of the Ghana Food and Beverages Association, FABAC, outlined key policy decisions they expect the Finance Minister to address.
The expectation is that certain taxes really ought to be reviewed, some of them quashed entirely. We are not saying we shouldn't be paying taxes, but we need to pay reasonable taxes and then also expand it in a way that everybody or every sector would then have to pay something small without increasing it for the very few of paying those taxes. The most determining factor that is also creating a lot of problem are the benchmark values that impose. The benchmark value, what it means is that when you do your imports, government takes that invoice and then tell you, this is how I'm going to sell it back to you. You see, so when you bought your goods in for $100,000, government takes it back and imposes $200,000 on you.
The Finance Minister, Dr. Kusasi Latuforsen, will be presenting the budget statement in Parliament on Thursday, and economic watchers will be keenly monitoring the budget presentation that will take place in Parliament on Thursday, and they will be expecting policy decisions that are going to help boost economic growth. Reporting for Channel One Business, I am Nashika Caesar.
Now, energy sector stakeholders are urging the government to tackle growing inefficiencies and structural imbalances in the power and petroleum supply chain, warning of rising fiscal risk. The calls for urgent reform come ahead of the July 24 Media Budget Review, where Finance Minister Dr. Kusasi Latuforsen is expected to announce measures to curb liabilities and stabilize the economy. There is more in this report by Daniel Sakiti.
Ghana's energy sector continues to weigh heavily on public finances, with under-recoveries now estimated at nearly 2% of GDP. The International Monetary Fund, in its latest review of Ghana's program under the Extended Credit Facility, flagged the sector as a persistent fiscal risk. At the heart of the crisis is a ballooning debt stock. As of March 2025, total energy sector liabilities had climbed to $3.1 billion, spanning arrears to independent power producers, state-owned enterprises, and fuel suppliers. Finance Minister Dr. Latuforsen had disclosed that IPPs alone were owed $1.7 billion. While the government has initiated talks to renegotiate existing agreements with IPPs aiming to ease the fiscal pressure, policy lead on petroleum and conventional energy with the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Kojo Yauche, is calling for greater transparency around the renegotiation process.
We know that governments wants the IPPs to take some haircuts in terms of the debt that has accrued to them. Some negotiations of the capacity charges, the O&M charges, all of that. So we want full transparent disclosure on that process. Which ones have we been successful with? What savings have we made?
To tackle the funding gap, government introduced a 1 cedi fuel levy, directing proceeds towards the procurement of liquid fuels and the settlement of sector debts. The measure has contributed to recent fuel price hikes, and attention is now shifting to how the levy revenues will be properly managed. The mid-year budget review is expected to outline a clearer roadmap, with civil society groups urging strict oversight to ensure funds are deployed efficiently and in line with their intended purpose. Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, has been speaking with Channel One Business.
What we are looking at is a judicious use of that levy, because like I indicated, a time might come Ghanaians would simply agitate for its removal or scrapping off completely.
Let's now bring you an update on how the currency is performing on the interbank markets. And that's it for Channel One Business. I am Nashika Caesar. Vivian?
See you in Parliament tomorrow.
Sure.
Let's do some other stories. The High Court has granted bail to all 7 accused persons in the high-profile National Petroleum Authority extortion and money laundering case, with each person required to meet strict bail conditions. Now, this comes as all 10 individuals and corporate entities implicated in the 280 million Ghana cedi scandal pleaded not guilty during their first appearance in court. Channel One News' Hansen Ajiman reports.
The accused, including former NPA CEO Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, Jacob Kwamena Amwa, and Wendy Newman, have each been granted bail in the sum of 2 million Ghana cedis, with 2 sureties earning at least 5,000 net monthly income to be justified. 4 other accused persons, Albert Ankra, Isaac Mensah, Bright Bediako Mensah, and Kweku Abwaje Akwa, were ordered to present 3 sureties each, with 1 justified by landed property. They are all to report to the Office of the Special Prosecutor once every 2 weeks. At the arraignment on Wednesday, all accused persons pleaded not guilty to a series of charges filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. According to the OSP, the alleged crimes occurred between 2022 and 2024, involving a large-scale extortion and money laundering scheme that targeted oil marketing companies and bulk oil distribution companies. The charges include conspiracy to commit extortion, using public office for profit, conspiracy to commit money laundering. Dr. Abdul Hamid, alleged to be the mastermind, is accused of personally profiting 24 million Ghana cedis from the scheme. Jacob Kwamena Amwa and Wendy Newman are accused of laundering large sums through property purchases, vehicle acquisitions, and fuel station establishments. Meanwhile, in a separate high-profile legal matter, the Human Rights Division of the High Court has adjourned proceedings in the case involving suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu and the Attorney General to July 31, 2025, when the court is expected to rule on a motion to strike out application for judicial review. The Chief Justice is currently facing impeachment proceedings under Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution and has filed a certiorari application claiming the process violates her fundamental human rights. In court on Wednesday, legal teams clashed over whether the Attorney General must provide further and better particulars in response to Exhibit CJ1, a letter submitted by the Chief Justice's lawyers. After hearing both sides, the court issued the following directions. Respondents or applicants, that's the AG and others, must file their legal submissions in support of the motion to strike out by Monday, July 28, 2025. The applicant or the respondent, that's the Chief Justice, must file her submissions in opposition by Tuesday, July 29, 2025. The case has been adjourned to July 31, 2025 at 9 a.m. for ruling on the Attorney General's motion. Accused persons in the NPA case are expected back in court on August 26. They've all pleaded not guilty to the charges against them. They're accused of extortion, money laundering, and using public office for private gain. Reporting for Channel 1 News, Hansen Ajiman.
This is the Channel 1 Newsroom. When we come back, Black Queens WAFCON breakthrough rekindles call for investment in women's football. Stay with us. We're back with details of that story.
Every day is packed with its own surprises. You never know which thrill is around the corner.
Feel good. Feel good.
Or how it will play out. There's a sense of excitement.
Did our plane just stop? Another cash out.
That adds a little magic to my everyday.
Feels like a party tonight.
Wake up in the morning feeling super fine. Let's go, don't got no time, yeah. Turn it up, I'ma strut my stuff. You see me walking on the block, can't get enough. Like, nobody can touch me. They wanna be like me, but I got no time to get up, get up, get up. Now let's go. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. We gotta.
Play me for.
It's go time.
We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up.
Call me.
We gotta move on up. We gotta move on up. Now let's go.
Beautiful.
Get up.
Wow.
Let's go.
Decent cross, wasn't going for it. Up towards goal. That's a superb finish.
When it's go time to supercharge your hustle, make it go time for GoTV.
Get up, now let's go.
Love it.
Welcome back to Channel 1 Newsroom. Next is Channel 1 Sports with Gabby Ofe. Gabby, the Black Queens are still in the news.
Yes, so we have somebody who had 4 of her players as part of the squad, and she's been speaking big, especially reacting to what the ranking member for the Parliamentary Select for Committee, Sport, Vincent Ekwasifo said in Parliament some few days ago.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, now the Black Queens' impressive run to the last 4 of the WAFCON, their first since 2016, has reignited conversations around the state of women's football in Ghana. Now, before Diana lost to host Morocco, the Queens' performances had already drawn widespread praise from key dignitaries across the country. Now, the latest to join the chorus of commendation is a prominent stakeholder in the sport who has urged government to provide increased support for women's football, not only at the national level, but also across the Women's Premier League and also the Division 1 League clubs in Ghana.
Ghana's last bronze medal at the WAFCON came in 2016 when the Black Queens edged South Africa's Banyana 1-0 in Cameroon. That history could repeat itself on Friday as the two sides meet again, this time in Casablanca for the third place playoff.
The Queen's impressive campaign under head coach Kimlas Bjorgren has drawn widespread admiration from football fans back home. Their run in the tournament has not only reignited national pride, but also spotlighted the contributions of domestic clubs to the national team. Notably, 4 former Hazakes ladies players featured in Ghana's squad for the 2024 edition. In light of this, the club's CEO has called for greater financial support for women's Premier League teams, stressing that with the right investment, local clubs can continue to produce top-tier talent for the national team.
What I'm saying is that they should go beyond that. At least the basics too. We shouldn't wait till when the Black Queens is doing well, when the Black Stars are doing well, before they will start talking their big grammar at the floor of Parliament. We need to start from the basics. Now under 15 has come to stay. Look at the girls, they are doing well. Look at Chantel. If your daughter is Chantel, wouldn't you be happy?
Yeah, you'll be happy.
You'll be happy because at least the young girls will also see these Black Queens on screens and they will be yearning to be like them. But when it is that we cannot get the small foundation that we have to get to put these girls somewhere, it hurts and it's so sad. So
Evelyn Isiasari also made a passionate appeal to the Confederation of African Football to make the women's competition more lucrative as it continues to evolve.
Hazakes ladies, we don't have a player from our local scene, but we have Evelyn Bedu, we have Jennifer Kujo, we have Doris Boadua, we have Ernestina Bambila, 4 players. I mean, so if something small is coming to Hazakes, I think it is in order. I feel that CAF should also start doing that, because once FIFA is doing it, it is not out of place that CAF also start doing that.
Ghana's Black Queens stand to earn either $350,000 or $300,000 from their third-place playoff clash against South Africa on Friday, July 25 in Casablanca. Now let's talk about Barcelona's new recruits. And Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford has completed a season-long loan and moved to Barcelona. The agreed loan deal is for the 2025-2026 season with an option to buy him next summer for around £26 million. Now Rashford's move is understood to have been given green light by Barca head coach Hansi Flick. And that's the very latest in the world of sports. I am Gabi Ofer. Back to you, Vivian.
Thank you, Gabi, so much. Now, before we go, the Supreme Court, exercising its supervisory jurisdiction, has unanimously overturned a ruling by the High Court, subsequently upheld the Court of Appeal, which ordered the inclusion of Taki Adama Lache II's name in the National House of Chiefs Registry as Gamanche. Now, the dispute stems from a chieftaincy controversy heard by the Judicial Committee of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs over the rightful occupant of the Gamanche stool. Now, King Taki Teiko Churu II was installed in 2020, but his claim to the title was contested by Taki Adama Lache II, who claims to have been previously installed in 2017. Now, following proceedings at the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, Taki Adama Lache II's name was removed from the National House of Chiefs Register of Chiefs. His legal team then filed an application at the High Court seeking an order to compel the National House of Chiefs to re-enter his name into the registry. Now, the High Court granted that application, a decision that was later affirmed by the Court of Appeal after the National House of Chiefs challenged it. However, lawyers for King Taki Teiko Churu II, led by Professor Atopare, filed an application at the Supreme Court asking it to quash the decisions of the lower courts. Now, King Taki Teiko Churu II argued that his right to natural justice had been breached as he was not made a party to the proceedings at either the High Court or the Court of Appeal. Now, on Wednesday, the Supreme Court, by a unanimous decision, upheld its application, questioned both lower courts' decisions and dismissing the order to include Taki Adama Lache II's name in the Registry of Chiefs. Well, that's it for today's edition of the Channel One Newsroom. I am Vivian Kai Loco. Many thanks for joining us. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.